What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Realms of Metal. Eddie here, back with you from you know where, my happy place here in the woods in PA. We've got a very special episode today, and we're joined by two very special guests, two good friends, two legends of underground metal. We've got the one and only Vincent Crowley of, you know where he's from, Vincent Crowley Band, Acheron, Infidel Reich, Wolf in Society, Ex Nocturnus. Welcome back, Vincent.
Yeah, brother. Good to be here.
And we've got the one and only Mike Bogush, ex-Nuclear Assault, Sanguinary, Trails of Blood. Welcome to the Realms of Metal, man. So good to have you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. So today I thought it would be fun to discuss our favorite thrash metal tracks of all time, what's near and dear to us. And I love getting everybody's different perspectives on what's favorites to them, you know, like what keeps, you know, all that stuff. So what it means to you. So, you know, let's hit it, man. So, Mike, why don't you start us off? So start us off with a doozy, brother.
Okay. One of the first thrash albums I bought, this is even before Metallica, was the mighty Exciter. Heavy Metal Maniacs.
Yes.
Cool.
And yeah, when I heard this album, it blew me away. And when I first put out side 2, Under Attack really hit me hard.
Under Attack.
The song Under Attack. Yeah, the double bass drums coming right in.
Good tune. Good tune.
Really
I always
good.
thought it was great that the drummer sang. That was always killer too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It was a great band. Exciters. Yeah, they're very underrated, but they were a very big part of that early scene. You know, people don't really give them the credit they really deserve.
I agree.
No, and I saw them live with Mercyful Fate and Motorhead at the Capitol Theater in Passaic, New Jersey, back in 1984.
Oh, it must have been a hell of a show.
Yeah, man.
That was one killer show. Yep.
Hit us, Vincent.
Well, this isn't necessarily a thrash band, but it was the beginning of a lot of stuff, and this was definitely a thrash song, and it is the mighty Venom with Witching Hour from the
Yes.
Welcome to Hell album. I think a lot of people that maybe didn't hear the albums that got to see the Ultimate Revenge video. That was a good introduction to them, and that was always such a great song, catchy, good hooks, and definitely had that thrash beat to it.
Oh yeah, that album. Yep. I used to hear that on WMSC pirate radio, and they used to always play Red Light Fever, running into what's the other song? Don't Burn the Witch.
Oh yeah, another great one. Another great one.
I actually didn't get into Venom and Celtic Frost until like mid 90s or so. You know, there are bands that I missed the boat on because I'm a little younger than you guys. But you know, I became a metalhead in '88, so I really loved the Bay Area stuff. And then as the years went on, I kind of went back to the early '80s and the mid '80s and discovered all that stuff and Venom and Celtic Frost and all that stuff. That's when I got into them.
Well, I know about your list, Mike, but most of mine is pre-87. So
Yeah, I think I'm the old man here. I was around since the 70s, and
right.
and as I kept hearing heavier stuff, I just kept getting drawn into that heavier thing, you know.
You're only as old as you feel, and this music is pretty much the fountain of youth for all of us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, keeps my youth alive.
Yep, hell
and
yeah.
I still carry the metal look, baby.
I know. So like these picks, it could be from any time period of thrash metal, any subgenre of thrash metal. We can do, you know, crossover, death thrash, black thrash, the progressive technical stuff. So any subgenre is fair game here. So I'm going to start with this one because it's almost like a double, but if I had to put that song in there, I have to put the intro. and that's going to be March of the SOD and Sergeant D and the SOD. Like that intro, it's the first track I thought of when I was going to do this video. Like, then the drums kick in. Oh, man, so good, man. I love this record so much. I know you guys do too.
Oh yeah, that's my old bandmate Dan Loker in there playing bass.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of. I mean, that's on my top list of albums in general. That was an album of perfection. The sound, the heaviness and stuff. I mean, honestly, when I heard that album, I'm like, I could care less if Anthrax does another album.
It's true. They blew away Anthrax. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it was the heaviness, the attack, the tongue-in-cheek stuff. It was everything a metalhead wanted, it's perfection.
Hit us up with another one, Mike.
Okay, let's see. How about Bathory to Return?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Born for Burning, and that got me in the Rite of Darkness and Evil. Those songs really did it for me, and I remember like people being scared when I played this.
It's funny too, when Bathory first came out, they weren't that popular. They were very underground, and I remember when they first came out, people were like, "Oh, it's just a Venom ripoff," and I was like, "Oh, you could tell the first album was influenced, but the Return, man, it's just like, wow, it's its own beast, and it influenced so many bands and people."
Yeah. I didn't get into Bathory until, like I said, the mid-90s. When the thrash band started to take a turn for the more mainstream, that's when I went back to some of the earlier stuff because I was looking for that heaviness. And that's when I discovered, Bathory, Celtic Frost, Venom. So mid-90s for me is when I started listening to Bathory.
Yeah. Well, I have one from 86, and it's the only one from the Big Four. And that is Slayer's Altar of Sacrifice from Rain and Blood. I love my favorites are the older Slayer, but that album is like thrash perfection, and that song in general is like one of my favorites. It's just the aggression, then breaking into the say the sacred words of praise, hail Satan. It's God, it's something you never forget, and it always stays in your head.
I think it's so cool that you picked that track other than like, Raining Blood and Angel of Death, because that fits you so perfectly, I think.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Slayer, wow, that album was just, you get some of the old schoolers, they're like, well, that's when they kind of lost it. I don't think so. I think that was total brutality and aggression and yeah, everything on that album's great.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll go up. I'm gonna throw a beast out here. This is maybe one of the more modern runs, maybe from what the bands that we're talking about, but I gotta go Dead Embryonic Cells from Sepultura's Arise. I love that track. I mean, I was looking at Beneath the Remains to include a Sepultura track, and I could have included so many of those tracks, but I think that Dead Embryonic Cells is such a great track. This was more of a thrash record, a straight up thrash record than Beneath the Remains was. I would categorize that more as death thrash, but this was so good. And that song, it was a mainstay on the Headbangers Ball. Just about every weekend they played it, and means a lot to me.
Good track, and they were always great at writing those hooks and those riffs that stay in your head.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hit us up, Mike.
Okay. Celtic Frost, Morbid Tales.
Yes.
Let's see. Shit, man. Everybody knows Return to the Eve. I mean, I used to cover that myself, but damn, I'd have to always something about Visions of Mortality I always liked.
Okay.
And
Again,
I love their guitar sound. The guitar sound is just all so brutal in your face.
Yep.
yeah. That whole album's again another masterpiece.
Hit us up, Vincent.
Okay. Now this is one that if you don't have this on the list, it just doesn't seem right. And that's Exodus, Bonded by Blood.
Oh,
Oh yeah. You beat me to it, brother.
I mean, the lyrics, the sound, the speed, everything is fucking thrash metal right there. And you know, Haunted by Blood in general is one of the greatest thrash albums ever. You know, that's a must have for sure.
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That solo in Bonded by Blood, that first solo just fucking blows my doors off every time I hear it. It's one track I can never get tired of hearing, it's Bonded by Blood.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this out here. I just think it's a genre defining track. I'm gonna go Anthrax's Among the Living, the title track for Among the Living. We actually when we got married, when the wedding party was coming out, we actually got introduced as husband and wife to the intro to Among the Living. It's on video somewhere inside. It's pretty awesome. But I love this album. Pretty much the whole thing is gold for me. And I love the track. To me, it's a genre defining track. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah. It's pretty, pretty decent. It was after that album, though, I was pretty much done with Anthrax.
Yeah, what was after that? State of Euphoria?
I believe something like.
I think
I
so.
believe so. But yeah, I was just really into the first 3 albums, and after that, I was, done. They got goofy for me.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm like the same. I thought that was a good album. That's a good track. I can't say I ever was a huge Anthrax fan, but I did it, pop it on every once in a while and stuff.
Yep, same here.
What you got next, Mike?
Okay, I got an underrated band, At War. We retaliating.
Wow.
Retaliating. How do you say it? Retaliatory strike.
Yeah,
that's a cult band. At War, it really is.
Yeah, actually, Drucifer just did a video about that band, and yeah, At War, yeah, that was a killer band. Are they still around? I can't remember if you mentioned they were still doing stuff or not. Yeah, but that early stuff just sounds so good.
Oh yeah, it's kind of got that Venom vibe in it with Motorhead and
yeah. Again, another band that people kind of overlook nowadays.
Yeah. And this was a limited pressing too. A numbered edition. Numbered 11. This one's 1165. So I don't know how many they made of these, but
cool.
Well, I'm gonna go with a band that was a major influence for me starting out, and they're from Germany, and band is Destruction, and the song is Festal Invasion from the Infernal Overkill album in 1985. Wow, that song and man, such a great track, great licks, great man. I've always loved Destruction, and for the most part, before they did their My Sharona cover or whatever the hell they did on that one album, they had such good stuff. And then when they came back later, they continued to put out some really good thrash albums.
They got some good modern ones too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go. I mean, I had to put this on here, man. I'm going Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Megadeth, Rust in Peace, 1990. You know, it's to me, it's another genre defining track. You know, it's a track that they always put in their set. You know, I remember when this came out, just being totally blown away as like a 16-year-old kid listening to this record. And you know, I mean, lyrically, I love the lyrics too. You know, a country that's divided surely will not stand. You know, Mustaine was way ahead of his time when it came to all of that stuff, and it's a special record for me.
Yeah,
Oh, they had Marty Friedman on there too. That Marty Friedman, Dave Mustaine team on guitar was killer.
And Nick Menza on drums too.
Yep.
that was definitely an epic song. It's funny because that's like my wife's, I think, favorite Megadeth album or a song, and every, I swear, once a week we'll be in the car and she has to listen to it. And it's like, it's a good song. We don't need to listen to it every day, but but yeah, definitely a killer song.
Oh yeah.
Hit us, Mike.
Oh, okay. You ready for me?
Oh yeah.
All right. Got the Mighty Creator, Pleasure to Kill.
Yeah.
Yes, great pick.
This like I had this in my cassette deck for a long time in my car when it first came out, and I got a bunch of friends into this band.
And,
What
and
track?
would you say that I always thought on that album they were pretty much bordering death metal.
Totally agree.
I mean, especially with the drumming, it's very close. And I kind of still think it's a more of a death metal album than a thrash album.
I would classify it as a death thrash album, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah,
to me, it's no different from Beneath the Remains, you know?
yeah,
The drums kind of got more of that thrash thing going in the album, other than the vocals kind of make it a little more deathy, I believe. But yeah, the song, man, it's really hard to pick a song off of this one. I could just listen to this whole album all the way through.
mm-hmm.
Ride of Violence.
That's great. I mean, the title track, Pleasure to Kill.
Well, I'm going to have to follow up on yet another Creator song, Flag of Hate, from the Flag of Hate EP in '86.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was always one of my favorites. Asheron actually covered that song, and it was really fun to go in the studio and do. Creators put out so much good music throughout the years.
Yeah. You know, while we're on that
yeah.
theme, I'm just gonna go for the trifecta here. I'm gonna go People of the Lie from Coma of Souls. There's something about that opening riff to People of the Lie that just gets me going every time I hear it. And I mean, and if you look at the lyrics to this song, they're pretty much calling people out. I looked at what kind of the song meant, and I kind of had my own vision of what I thought the song meant. But it's kind of calling people out who blindly follow and advocate for destructive ideologies without like questioning their validity. You know, it's questioning stuff, which I always love, and
Right.
it makes me like the track even more.
Oh yeah, all three albums are killer.
Yeah,
No doubt about that. Actually, everything Creator puts out is pretty well. All the early shit is all killer.
Yeah, actually,
I didn't really like that renewal stuff.
no, but you know what? With Violent Revolution, that was like their comeback, and ever since Violent Revolution, that was like the early 2000s. They've been on a tear ever since. They really have. Like good album after good album. Enemy of God was another one, really good.
Yeah, they're just like a different kind of band now. They definitely expanded their sound, and it's definitely not as raw as the old days, but it's still, I like the newer stuff. I think they still write some really good songs.
Yeah. They inject a lot of melody into the newer stuff too, which I don't mind. I don't think it's overdone, but they are some sort of melodic with some of their newer stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And the vocals, there's some more cleaner vocals in some of the parts too now.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hit us, Mike.
Okay. Sorry, Vince, I'm going to beat you to this one.
Uh,
Possess.
oh,
Ooh.
yes.
This is more of a. A lot of people say this could very well be the first death metal album, but it's still got the thrash elements in it.
Yeah.
My band used to cover The Exorcist. My band Sanguinary. But I do, man, it's another album I could listen to all the way through, and I really can't pick a favorite off of. I'm that kind of guy. I just can't.
Yeah.
I love an album, man. I just straight through. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Evil Warriors, Seven Churches, Holy Hell. I liked a lot. Twisted
Satan's
Mind.
Curse. Satan's Curse.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody debates like, is that the first death metal album? And I'm always on the fence because I think of Hellhammer. I think of like different bands that could have been considered death metal too. But back when we bought those albums back in the day, Eddie, you weren't around. But they were considered thrash, so I think it fits the format for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, they were from San Francisco, where all the Bay Area stuff was going on, so that kind of lumped them into a more a thrash kind of band to me. But
well, since he got the Possess, I'm going to go to another German band, Sodom, Blasphemer from In the Sign of Evil from 1985. That song, that album, so raw. You can tell they were just new musicians and kids that were loving just starting out. I mean, the lyrics are so ridiculous. It's great. Talking about, actually, I'm not sure if that's, besides Venom, if that's the first time besides that where they mention black metal in the song. Because in the beginning of the song, they mention black metal. And of course, we can't forget the masturbate to kill myself. Fucking hilarious. But yeah, that was such a important album to a lot of people.
yeah, man, raw as fuck too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Great thing is the mistakes and all, the timing, it just fucking worked. It just fucking worked.
Of course, the Trails of Blood, we did record Outbreak of Evil. But
Nice.
more of the other version, plus the Persecution Mania remake.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been hard to do the first one with the off timing, like you said.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So I know you picked Bonded by Blood, and that was definitely going to be on my list, Vincent. But I'm going with another track off of that record, man. I'm going with Strike of the Motherfucking Beast. Oh,
oh yeah.
I could pick so many tracks off of this record that, I love it so much. Strike of the Beast is a staple in their live set, as well as Bonded by Blood, and so is A Lesson in Violence, so like you could pick so many tracks off this record. I'm going Strike of the Beast because it just does something to me, like in the pit. Like I feel like I'm a possessed fucking, like I'm the only one there. I feel like I'm the only one there when I watch Exodus live, and love the record so much. And Strike of the Beast.
Hell yeah.
You can't go wrong with that first Exodus album. It's just great.
Hit us, Mike.
Okay. This is kind of, I don't know, this kind of borderline thrash, but Metal Church.
Yeah.
The first Metal Church album.
They're one of those bands that always towed the line for me between, straight up heavy metal and thrash metal. Like they have a lot of elements of thrash metal in their stuff.
Yeah. Great band.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see a definite thrash influence to a point, but then you have the heavy metal there too. But man, they, again, another band that's still kicking it and kicking ass too. That last album was actually really good too. It
was good.
Oh yeah. Well, Mike Howe's no longer with us.
No. They have another singer now. I forget the guy's name. I keep forgetting the guy's name, but he did a pretty good job. He's almost very David Wayne-ish on this new record.
Okay, I didn't even know they had a new album out.
Yeah, yep. It came out end of last year, maybe, Vincent.
Yeah. A friend of mine at work actually like burned me the copy. I didn't even know they had an album. He goes, "Oh, check this out." I'm like, "Oh, I definitely have to go pick it up. It's good stuff." Okay, I'm gonna go with a band called Onslaught with the song Flame of the Antichrist from the album The Force from 1986. Uh, I got into Onslaught with the Power from Hell album, but when The Force came out, man, their stuff was just so solid, catchy, evils. I mean, Flame of the Antichrist was always one of those songs that stuck in my head, and one of the earlier songs that learned to play with people and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's really good album. I like Striking a Beast too. That was pretty damn fast and moving.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's another one, Vincent, that I could really see you being influenced from the cloth that you're cut from. Flame of the Antichrist. I love it.
Right. You get more of the darker picks from me.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. So I'm gonna go my next one, Elimination from Overkill, Years of Decay. To me, it's another thrash metal anthem. It's a track that Overkill plays in their set, every time I see them. And there's just something about that track, just does something to me. It's one I've always loved. Favorite record of mine, and 1989, Years of Decay.
Yeah, great song, great band. I mean, honestly, I know the big four had the more popular bands, but if it was a personal big four, Overkill would definitely be in that for me, because I just think they represent thrash, and they've stuck to it after all these years.
Yeah, you put that early Overkill catalog up against any of the big four and Exodus, and they're right there with them, even in my opinion.
There's something about Overkill. Originally, they had Dan Spitz from Anthrax was their lead guitar player.
Yep.
He left. I actually auditioned for them, but for some reason, me and Bobby Gustafson, the other guitarist, didn't really click.
Right.
Oh,
because they only had one guitar player. Did they think about having two guitar players back then?
Well, they did have two guitar players, Dan Spitz and Bobby Gustafson, but then Dan Spitz left and they were looking for another guitar player. But I guess, I don't know, they stayed three-piece. I didn't work out Bobby Gustafson. I don't know, maybe he only wanted to be the only guitar player. I don't know.
Hit us up next one, Mike.
Okay. This is kind of hardcore influence in a way, too. Carnivore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I used to see them all the time out Lemoore's back in 84 and 85.
I am so jealous. God, I wish I would have saw. We did Milwaukee one year, and Carnivore was playing, and that was the highlight of beyond even playing, just to get to see that reunion show.
Oh, wow.
I love the lyrics of that first Carnivore record. They just resonate with me. I think they're so much fun. The self-titled Carnivore track on that, I love that. It just blows my doors off.
Like the masterminds of like tongue in cheek and just fucking with people's heads, and like they had so much. Remember how much controversy, Mike, there was back then because of them? People wanting to ban them and stuff, and it's like,
oh yeah,
people just didn't get their sense of humor, their dark sense of humor.
Yeah, they're crazy. I was actually when I saw them out Lemoore's before they were signed and stuff. I walked up to Pete Steele, and I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'2.5", and I asked him. I go, "Hey, your band was great. You guys have a demo?" He just looks down at me. "Buy our album. It's coming out next month."
I know it's funny because in Milwaukee, we were unloading our stuff, and Peter Steele was behind me, and I'm like 6'3", and I'm like you know, it's like, man, this motherfucker's fucking. I gotta look up at this guy, man, fucking like a giant. But
Yeah, not only that, he was Hulk too, man. He was all
yeah,
muscle.
yep, for sure. Well, my next song is a pretty short song, but man, I fucking probably played that so much just to piss people off. And Mike might have heard of them. Band called Nuclear Assault, and it's Hang the Pope.
Oh
hang,
yeah.
hang the Pope from Game Over in '86. It was to the point, hilarious lyrics, fucking great stuff. The whole album's fucking amazing.
Yep, but I played most of those songs before they got signed and on the demo.
Mm.
It was fun.
Nuclear Assault. It's so weird because they had such a good push at first, and they had a name, and then I don't know if it was just them breaking up or things didn't work out, but you wouldn't hear about them too much after that. You know, it kind of sucked because great band for sure.
Yeah, they were total. Dan and John, they were totally into. Let's see, when I first joined the band, they were always listening to Venom, Discharge, Inferno, like a lot of old hardcore punk stuff, and they wanted to be fast. I guess they were trying to mix. They wanted to be faster than any band out there. I remember when I joined them, and I remember they were saying, "Oh, Anthrax go commercial with this spreading the disease." The songs they're working on. They just wanted to be faster and heavier.
It's great.
Sticking with that theme, I'm going with Stranded in Hell, ring Satan's bell. There's nothing left you can do. Like, I love that track. I always have. Did you write any of that earlier stuff with them?
No, I just did the lead work.
Just did the lead. So you wrote the leads?
Basically. I just threw in my leads.
Great record.
Dan and John wrote all the words and, well, say the lyrics and the music. I was just, I felt like a hired gun, just a guitar player, because they didn't want no other writing. Like Anthony Bramante, he didn't write anything at all with them.
No, really? Yeah. It was just
so.
John and Glenn, pretty much, and Dan.
Yeah, well, Glenn wasn't around when I was in there, so. It was Scott Dubois who went to Cities and Warrior Soul.
Hit us up with the next one, Mike.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Guess I'll have to go back to Slayer. One of my favorites. Haunting the Chapel. Because Chemical Warfare blew me the fuck away.
Yeah.
The speed of that song, and there's something dark about it. This whole EP is just kick ass.
We could have done this whole video just on Slayer and Exodus tracks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's an amazing EP, and Chemical Warfare. It just pops out war. It just sounds like you're getting ready for fucking battle for that.
Yep.
Okay, well, here's another band. This is 1985. Dark Angel, Welcome to the Slaughterhouse from the We Have Arrived album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that well.
Yes, that album's great. Just that song itself, just welcome to the sun. It's man, that I had many plays on my record player for sure. And yeah, love that band. Some people didn't like them after that with Leave Scars and stuff, but I thought they continued to put out great stuff. It was a different type of band after that, but man, Dark Angels.
Time Does
been
Not
great.
Heal is gold for me. It's like almost like a progressive thrash album, almost like an Injustice for All type of album. I really love that one.
Yeah.
Darkness Descends was a real classic too. The
Oh,
Burning
yeah.
of Sodom.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I heard that
Brutal
song,
record.
Burning of Sodom. Oof.
Yeah. And those early Dark Angel albums, I the thrash, you know, when it first started off, it had that real raw, gritty production usually, and you know, it got more polished later. Still was good, but you know, stuff like the Dark Angel, it captures a moment in history that you can go back and just imagine yourself being a teenager listening to this stuff.
Oh yeah. I think notice too. I think back then they had a problem recording the drums. They didn't know what they were doing yet with the double bass because a lot of it was beat. You put that in your car stereo and bounce. The speakers would bounce.
Mhm.
You know, they had to
Right,
perfect it more to a tap.
right.
So I'm going to go to a track that I think is another piece of thrash metal history. I know some people maybe think this track is a little hokey, but I think it's so important and so much fun. I'm going Toxic Waltz by Exodus. Exodus to me, and it's another thrash metal anthem. It just lives, breathes, and eats thrash metal. Like it's just when you hear that track, you think thrash metal instantly, and it's one I always loved. And they always play it live.
I'm not gonna lie, Eddie. when that when that album came out, I was not that big of a fan of it for sure.
I know some people are on the fence with it. I know.
But later on, I gave it another try later on, and I don't mind it. And you know, I can kind of understand it now and understand where it came from. It's hard to listen to Bonded by Blood and go to that, but it was a part of their evolution, and I can appreciate that. And that was at least a very catchy, hook-driven song that you know got attention that wasn't some glam metal bullshit from back in the day.
You know what it is? I'm a little younger than you. This was my first Exodus record as a kid. I think I was a freshman in high school when I bought it, so that's why it means a lot to me because it was really my first one, and I love the whole record. But
well, you can't deny that Toxic Waltz was a pit favorite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like Verbal Razors. Verbal Razors might be my favorite song on that record, but when it comes to thrash metal legendary tracks, I'm gonna throw Toxic Waltz in. It is Mike.
Okay.
Three rounds left. Make them good ones. 3 picks left.
Ooh, man. All right. Picking one out here. Gonna go back to Bathory. Blood, Fire, Death. Although, yep. You hear the horses at the beginning. This would be classified as what? Kind of like a black/Viking with different metal elements in it. Bathory Corthon would always say that he didn't like being labeled. He'd just say it's just fucking metal.
Yep.
I think that's like a lot like Venom, Bathory, because he would do different types of stuff. You would hear something that would sound just totally dark and evil. You have stuff that was aggressive, thrash kind of driven. You have stuff that was just like totally brutal. And you definitely couldn't just label them back then for sure.
Yeah, Blood, Fire, Death is my favorite Bathory record for sure, hands down. It's a 10 out of 10.
Well, my next one is going to be a surprise because it's a band that spiked their hair on their album. And they look like almost a glam band just in black leather. And that would be Canadian band Infernal Majesty. And this song is Overlord on the None Shall Defy album from 1987.
Yeah, man. I forgot all about that band. Fuck. I had that on vinyl.
yeah, that's fuck. I remember me and I got it, and I had some friends in Detroit, and I go, man, you guys have to check this fucking album out. And they're like, oh, okay. And this same thing was like, you see the back cover, and a couple of them have the poofed out hair, and then but they had like the upside down cross drumsticks and shit, and you're like going, I don't know. And then I was like, fuck it, I just want to check it out. And the cover kind of cheesy, and when I heard the music, I was blown away. Song structures, the the vocalist had kind of like a didn't sound like Tom Araya, but had a little bit of a feel like that. And yeah, great album, great song.
That's a band that you turned me on to just recently, within the last couple of months. You mentioned them in passing, maybe on a video we were talking, but I checked them out. It's a really great album, really is.
Yeah, really good.
What's funny, George from Cannibal Corpse has always been a big Infernal Majesty fan. And I years back, I saw a video where I guess Cannibal did a show with them, or he was at a show, and he actually did a bunch of songs with them on stage. So that must have been his glorious time to be able to jump on a stage with a band he really liked, from the past.
My next one, I'm going to 1983, Acting Like a Maniac, Whiplash. I mean, I could have picked a lot of different songs from this record, but Whiplash is another one of those thrash metal anthems for me. And it's about thrash metal, and I like thrash metal bands that sing about thrash metal. And that opening riff just gets me going. It's a track I always loved. It's a track I never get tired of, man. So I'm going Whiplash.
It's a good
Cool.
pick.
That was the second vinyl I bought. That was thrash after Exciter.
Yeah,
Back when they were released. Yeah.
That was one of my first, albums dealing with the underground. It definitely opened the doors.
Oh yeah. Thanks to John Z. May he rest in peace.
No,
Absolutely.
he was pivotal in back then with all those bands.
Oh yeah.
Hit us, Mike.
Okay. Kind of. See. Does Mercyful Fate count?
If you wanted to.
Yeah, I have to put him in there. The Melissa album with Satan's Fall. It's a long song. I actually dig this whole album though. The whole album from beginning to end. It's another one you can listen to all the way through. Not a bad track on here.
Brilliant record.
I can honestly say I listen to that album probably once a week. It's still to this day.
I listened to it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to it at least once a month.
Hey, my next pick, and they're another one of those bands that considered thrash, but they still have that kind of heavy metal vibe to them too. A band called Blessed Death, and the song is Pig Slaughter from the Kill or Be Killed album from 1985. If Mike, it was like one of those albums. I when we were deciding to do this show, I kind of was going back and like looking through stuff. I'm like going, wow, I haven't picked this album up in a minute. And I started listening to it. And I'm like going, oh my God, I can't remember how many times I've listened to this album. And, Pig Slaughter was pigs must die. Pigs must die. It's this fucking great song, man.
Mike, weren't they from New Jersey? Did you ever cross paths with those guys?
Actually, I've crossed paths so many times. I saw him at Lemoore several times. The lead singer used to come to our nuclear assault rehearsals, Larry. He was a really cool dude.
Yeah, good singer too, man. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was a killer out. I had that on cassette, Killer Be Killed. It was funny too. I think when we actually went to Merlin Studios in Whippany, New Jersey, I believe the guy had just recorded some Blessed Death when we were recording some Nuclear Assault there. It's crazy. Small world, man.
I could have picked many tracks off of this record, but I went with the Love Boat, the Hate Tank.
Ah,
MOD. Always a favorite record of mine. I love Billy Milano. I'm a huge Billy Milano fan. The SOD records. This MOD record, USA for MOD, I think I like a little bit more, believe it or not, than the Stormtroopers of Death record. I love, like you said, Vincent, the tongue-in-cheek stuff. I love the rawness and the guitar tone on this record. The songs are simple. They're aggressive. It's got that kind of hardcore element. I mean, it's a crossover record. And just speaks to me. That song speaks to me. Like, the Hate Tank is so fucking good.
That's great pick there. MOD would never be able to do what they do now what they used to do. Can you imagine how many cancel culture people would be?
It's funny. They're doing a new record. It is coming out soon, so I'm excited to hear what's going to be on that thing. I mean, I hope it's a nod to the old school. We'll see.
Now, I used to hang out with the guitar player every once in a while, Tim. He'd be hanging out at some clubs we used to go to. And also, my drummer from Trails of Blood was the brother of that drummer, Keith Davis. Okay. My drummer, Glenn Davis. Another weird connection there.
Yeah.
Considering Dan Milker played with SOD, and then my drummer's brother played with MOD.
Yeah, I miss those types of bands. I really do, because I think the scene needs something like that. So it's good to hear they do another album. I just hope. I don't think Billy would submit to the.
I don't think so either.
Peer pressure, but
let's see. I'm excited to hear that and see what's on it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, last round. Make it count. Round 12, Mike.
Oh shit! All right, I got to dig in deep here. Rig. Man. All right. I'll go another Celtic Frost to Megatherion.
Yes.
With Circle of the Tyrants.
Ooh. Yes. Great
was
song.
Another killer album. This was awesomely heavy too.
Yeah. That album actually, as much as I love Morbid Tales, I think that's my favorite Frost album, because it's just, I like the inclusion of like timpanis and just the whole sound in general. Little different than Morbid Tales. I love Morbid Tales, but there's something about the Megatherion that's just fucking great.
Yeah, Circle of the Tyrants is one of the best metal songs ever, regardless of genre, to me.
Oh yeah, I think that might very well be one of Frost's best songs. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's my last pick. If you don't know this band, I mean, another band I don't think gets enough recognition. Hallows Eve, Plunging to Megadeth from the Tales of Terror album from 1985. I mean,
underrated band.
Yeah, I mean, the whole album's great. Plunging to Megadeth, I think most people from back in that era that was, first exposed to them know that song. I mean, I don't know how many people at shows be fucking singing that, it was always someone, saying the lyrics and shit out in the crowd.
Yeah, they were always playing that at L'Amour's before the bands went on too. You'd hear "Plunge It to Megadeth."
Yep.
All right, last but not least, man, I got to make this one count. I got to see what's left. Fuck. I mean, I have to include it, man. I got to put Angel of Death on here. Slayer. I got to close with that one. It's a thrash metal anthem, masterpiece, one of the most celebrated thrash metal tracks of all time.
Yeah.
And like you said, Vincent, earlier, this whole record is gold. To me, it's probably the best thrash metal record ever. You know, I would put it #1, and can't say enough good things about it. It's completely legendary, and it's under a half an hour.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a appropriate pick because that song, I think most people know it was the one song that got like so much attention. Um, you know, funny thing is, my buddy Ben from Nasty Savage, he when that first came out, he got a hold of a track ahead of time, and he goes, "Wait until you hear the double bass part, or just Lombardo's like doing it, fucking double bass." And I think back when they thought that was an amazing double bass compared to some of the shit they used to say. It's just talking about how metal has gotten so much more extremer and pushed limits since then. But yeah, that was a very punch in your face song for sure.
And it's also legendary because of the production on that. Like, the production on that one was so much different from the records that came before. I mean, they took all the garbage out. It was so clean. Like, that record is so clean, and the guitar tone cut you like a fucking razor. Like, it was a game changer, I think.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, it was hard because there's so many damn bands you could put on these lists. It's I had like all kinds. I was just like, I'm gonna try to pick the ones that like most kind of still with me and celebrate all the time. But there's a lot of bands that it was great listening to a lot of stuff prior to this show because I'm starting to listen to stuff I haven't picked up in years, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be on a thrash kick now.
And you know what's great? If you brought in 3 new guys and did this video, the picks would be probably totally different because everybody, you know, is influenced and loves different things. And I love to hear that. Like, there's so much you could choose from that it could vary so much from person to person. What's near and dear to them, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, we kind of left out Death Angel, we left out Testament. Wow, we could probably go on and on.
Yeah, Cryptic Slaughter, Crumbsuckers, Assassin.
Here you
all
go,
kinds
Mike.
of stuff. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Seemingly endless time was going to be a bonus pick for me in case you guys took some of my picks, but so there you have it. There's our 12 rounds of thrash metal tracks that we think are legendary and that mean a lot to us. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. What are some of your favorite thrash metal tracks of all times? Which ones have you included? Leave it down below. I can't thank you guys enough for coming on and being here with me. It's always an honor to talk metal, especially with you two guys who are legends of the underground. And I always value and respect your opinions, man. So how can the fans find you? I know both of you have YouTube channels, and I'm going to link your YouTube channels below. If you're not subscribed to these guys' YouTube channels, please like and subscribe to their YouTube channels. Vincent, you want to talk about some of the shit you got going on your channel, like the What Gets Your Goat series and the Acheron series?
Yeah, my channel's at the Vincent Crowley channel. It's originally got posting music of bands I've done and am into. I have past Q&As that answer questions from viewers, and I'm doing a series on my old band Acheron, and I just started a series called What Gets Your Goat, and Eddie's been on a couple times now, and it's kind of like my YouTube rage room. We talk about a variety of topics and kind of get our frustrations out while having a good time. And so far, people are really digging it, and hope people check it out.
Oh yeah, I dig it a lot, man. It's very entertaining.
And
I advise anybody out there to go check it out, man.
Yeah, man, those are fun as hell. That was a great idea to do that. And
Mike, you have on an upcoming episode, Mike.
There you go. It'll be fun with you. I know you don't hold anything back, Mike. You don't hold anything back. You'll tell it like it is.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yep.
And Mike, you also have your own YouTube channel, the Mike Bogush channel. You go on there and shred like a motherfucker. I love watching your shorts and your videos, man. It's guys like you who like inspire me to pick up my guitar again. So I appreciate all your kind words. I'm a beginner. I'm a total novice, but I'm watching you guys having fun, and you know I want to have some fun too. So you're inspiring me. I appreciate that, man.
That's cool. Thank you.
So we'll link
And,
your YouTube channel below. Anything else you want to leave with everybody as far as, you know, where they can find you, where else they can find you, what else you have going on?
I just got the YouTube thing going. That's it. I just play my guitar, put shorts up. I put some of my band stuff on there
Excellent.
when I can. I put
gonna
some
link-
live clips.
I'm going to link Mike's channel below. Please subscribe to his channel. Check out his videos. You're going to love them. And, you know, again, big thank you to both you guys for being on. Thank you for doing what you do, for being soldiers of the underground for all these years. For fans like me, it means the world. So, you know, you guys are the best.
Right. Thank you. You're great too, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us
you,
on,
brother.
man. It's fun.
And we'll see you guys next time on the Realms of Metal. We got some killer stuff coming up, so stay tuned. You know, have a good rest of your holiday weekend.
You too.